The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Are you ready to take a journey? Let's connect with the healers of the world. It's that time. It's time for the language of healing on W4WN Radio and Talk 4 TV. Now here's your host, Dr. Nicole Horton.
Hello, and welcome to another great show on the language of healing on the Women for Women Network, W4WN.com. And today we're celebrating summer and the long weekend and sunshine, independence, unity, and everything in between.
I want to stop you right there. First of all, you started that show beautifully. Like, so many people forget to do it that way, and it was like the perfect way. Second, is it really independence in Canada? Because it's independence this weekend here. But I always laugh when other countries celebrate our independence.
Well, this is Canada Day, which was July 1st, so yesterday. It does celebrate the time where we became independent from
there you go.
Britain. So it is independence. It's like represents like your country or your standaloneness, the boundaries, what makes up that country. You know, it's a time to celebrate the diversity and the unity and the, independence. It's like it's the melting pot, and Canada and US are very mixing melting pots, and we have, it's like a young history, but lots of history. So
yeah.
It's good that, it's interesting that they're so close together, but
It's
I don't know
history
much.
As long as you're not talking about current politicians, because they're all old.
Yeah, that's a rough go over there. I
And that
I
has
haven't
nothing
really
to
been
do with
keeping up.
politics, folks. It's just
Yeah.
old people running things in a young world.
Yeah. That's like the dynamic, I think, where we have to grow and evolve from, because the old ways sometimes don't match up to the new ways, and we're changing so fast. Now, we live in, like, it's not that many generations ago where things were so bare and minimum and basic and simple and actually very much more connected to nature. It's like we need the both. We need the old and the new,
Do you
blending it
like my
together.
alternative health attire today? Okay, because it is really.
I was gonna say
I
something
had
about that.
somebody do a cleansing of me once. And I had to go to their place, and I had to, disrobe while they threw a bunch of crap on me to cleanse me.
Like
And
oils or powders or smudges, smoke?
I don't even remember. It was so much. It was
Okay. What
and,
did they throw at you?
no, there was liquid stuff. There was probably other stuff, herbs
Yeah.
and just different things, like spiritually cleansing things. Yes, and monkey poop too. Look, somebody
Yeah.
said that. Monkey
Yeah.
poop too, yes.
Monkey poop. Yeah.
And no, that happens in Costa Rica though.
Oh,
But
yeah, Bali. Yeah.
but and then he had told me that you need to wear white, like, and I wear black a lot, so I'm like, I'm attracting the no wonder I have so many evil people that have been in my life. Maybe I should be wearing white the whole time. But seriously though, he was kind of dressed like this, except completely white, and even my shorts are white today, so I'm like all white today. I'm
Wow.
here like in my spiritual form.
Well, you're soaking in the sunlight. The white is the bright, it's the light, it's the opposite of black. So, at this time of year, it's good. Maybe you're soaking up. You need that energy. You need the.
I'll tell you what made me wear the white though.
All right.
Okay. Because I
Laundry
was
day?
watching a movie earlier. Okay. And the movie was, what was it? The serial killer mom or something. It's about that mom that's a housewife and everything. She turns out she's serial killing people.
I don't know
And
it.
so basically, one of the people she killed is because the person was wearing white after Labor Day.
Oh yeah, that one.
And so it's after Memorial Day because that's how we judge it here in the United States. You never wear white after Labor Day. That's a rule. Yeah, not in Florida, though, but when you live in the states that have winter, and then you never wear black after Memorial Day. Like summer is the time to wear white. And that's a
It's true.
tradition in a lot of
Yeah.
places in the United States where they have winter. Is like you wear white during the summer, you don't wear it during the winter. So that goes right along with your concept of the summertime and wearing the white and collecting the light and all that good stuff.
Yeah, because they say in there's a Kundalini yoga. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they all wear white. And it's just a, you know, tradition or different branch of yoga, but they say that it's because white absorbs every color. So if you think of the rainbow, like you're absorbing everything. And then black is a bit repellent, which is natural and fine, so you can choose. Are
Which
you
that's
absorbing
interesting.
or creating a boundary? It is. What do you think about that?
Well, what's interesting about that is I had a discussion with somebody, I don't know, a few years ago or something, but there was one point in time, there's different teachings. And there was one point in time I was taught like black and white are not colors. Black is all colors and white is the absence of color. But actually, in what you're talking about and what this person was saying to me, it's the exact opposite. Which what's interesting to me that so it makes more sense the other way because if black, you get no matter what colors you put together, you can get to black. You can never get to white if you put any color into it. So
Mhm.
it's kind of weird that, I was taught one thing that made logical sense, but then in the spiritual realm and all that, taught something very different, which logically doesn't make sense. But that's the point. Not everything should logically make sense because sometimes it just doesn't. Sometimes just think like there's things that make sense that have no logic to them.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the great mysteries of life and the universe. Like, if you think about, I think in a spiritual sense that it is opposite. You think about, okay, I'm also then thinking about science, like the black hole is not represents nothingness, right? It's like the abyss. It's the
Does that
void.
have to do with sunbathing?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Getting sunshine or the sun don't shine. Yeah. Yeah, I
Get
know that
some
this is
sunshine on the black hole.
on the black hole. Yes.
Okay.
I know this is one of your favorite activities,
Um,
actually.
it's my favorite activity to watch,
Okay.
not to participate because that could hurt.
Okay. Well, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about getting sunlight on your derriere in the black hole. It's just, it's the opposite. It's polarity. It's all equally as important of an area to maintain health.
Where does Rebel like sunlight?
Funny you should ask, Pipe Man. Why do you do this?
I
I
know
like
he's such a
sunlight
brat.
and a beautiful blue sky with no rain, which has been really nice lately, except for the heat here.
Mm. Yes, the
Mm.
heat. That's part of summer,
Mm.
that's a good segue, Rebel, because that's part of the summer heat. What we want to talk about today, because it also represents like fire and very active time.
Is
So
that why
maybe,
every romance
uh,
book is like placed in the summer?
yeah, and why the man is wearing a shirt similar to yours. Okay, we got to describe this for our radio listener. How would you describe your shirt today, Dean?
I think it's got like a spiritual African drum circle motif.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It's
The-
white, and then the V-neck, the deep V is
See,
attached
look.
by strings.
S-
Do you have a pattern on? Oh yeah, full white. I like it.
Yeah, so see,
Looking
it's
good.
got the whole thing
You
going
must
on.
you must need to attract some positive energies in your life. I don't
I
know.
do
You
not need
mentioned.
to. I just purposely make sure I do.
Yeah, there you go. It's intentional, right? Yeah. Soak it up.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so where was I going with this? Um
Somewhere in the
Fire,
summertime.
summer. Yeah, it's about keeping cool, how to keep cool in the summertime and how to have fun and, uh, you
And
know,
that's
create
that's
the best.
probably where the whole fashion thing comes from. Because if you think about it, black clothes, dark clothes, they are hot. So you want them in
Yeah,
the winter.
exactly. Yeah,
You want them
that's
in the
where I was
winter
going with that.
time. You
Yeah,
want them in the winter time.
yeah,
But
right.
white is not hot. So that's why
Mhm,
you want it in the summertime. Now,
mhm,
if you live
mhm.
where Rebel lives, it doesn't really matter.
Well, yeah,
He
I'm
says
sure
that
that.
because we have high humidity. We have 100+% humidity here
Well, you can't
most of
have
the
Oh,
time.
100+, okay? The maximum
It feels
percentage you
like
could
it.
have in anything is 100. That's the
And yet it
maximum
feels like it.
percentage. I'm in Florida, so like it's the same thing here. Like literally, I was sitting out on my balcony last night, and I was there for like 2 minutes. I'm like, it's freaking too hot for this crap.
wow.
It is way
That's
too hot for this because right now, current temperatures right here it's 95. What it feels like of 112. We just started
whoa.
summer.
Okay,
Here's
I gotta
what's
Google that.
interesting.
I gotta
Here's
convert that into Celsius for the Canadians.
here's what's interesting is that okay, so it can
Mhm.
have two meanings to summertime because summertime, okay, so like in New Jersey, summertime is when everything opens up and there's all kinds of action and stuff like that. But then also, summertime is also the time where like you don't even want to go outside because it's so freaking hot and it
Yeah,
slows you down. So it slows you down and speeds you up
right.
depending on what you're doing.
Well, this is like, yeah, it's the dualities of everything. There's like, okay, so just let's get back to this. Rebel, you said feels like 114.
12.
Oh, 112. Okay, that is 44.444 Celsius, which is crazy, crazy hot. I've felt that heat once in my life. It was in the middle of China in the summertime, and my friends, I honestly, I couldn't do it. I had to stay in the hotel room in the air conditioning the whole day. My friends went out for a bike ride, came back with blisters on their butts, and I got really bad diarrhea that day actually. But that's
Is that
you know, it's
related to
also
the
like
blisters?
no,
Is what I want to know.
it's not related at all. We each had our own issues going on down there. But that's a from Chinese medicine perspective, if we can make it like useful information for people, is that that kind of heat does affect the body and you have to be really cautious in it. And there's a really good formula. I never travel to a hot country without it. Hot and humid equals like damp heat, and yeah, you can get sick from that, i.e. diarrhea, and which is I haven't
Mm,
checked
mm.
recently, but the number one cause of death in the world is diarrhea because it
Come
dehydrates
on.
you.
Come
Yeah,
on. Hold on. I'm
yeah,
looking that up. Hold on.
okay.
All right. I'm looking
Yeah,
that one up.
just
Okay. Move
yeah, you look
aside.
that up.
Move aside that C word. Diarrhea is coming your way. Hold on. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it dehydrates you. So this is key number one for the summer is to keep hydrated. Um, in China, for example, they have a lot of heat in Chinese medicine or Eastern medicine. We really take in consideration the climactic factors in our health. So our internal environment matches or meets the external environment. So we need to respond appropriately. So we can do that through food or practices or clothing. What do you got there, Pipe Man? You look like you got
I
something to
have,
say.
yeah, it says people ask, is diarrhea a leading cause of death worldwide? The answer is Drum roll, please. Diarrheal disease is a leading cause of child mortality and morbidity in the world and mostly results from contaminated food and water sources. Worldwide, 780 million individuals lack access to improved drinking water, and 2.5 billion lack improved sanitation. So
All
it's
right.
children.
So children. Okay. Well, that's still important. Equally as important because that's our upcoming generation. I mean, but then there's other problems of sanitation. I think that's maybe more of a
I
causative
think
factor.
I think we should give that water to the older politicians instead of the kids.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe just you can't mess around with nature though. That's just the way it is. You got to accept it. I mean, nature will take care of it eventually, right? But
Well, yeah. Rebel,
I
how's
mean,
your water in Louisiana?
yeah, because we have a water issue here for sure. Many things.
I
Let's
don't
hear it.
suggest
Louisiana.
I don't suggest drinking the tap water because they put things in tap water that is just not, conducive to drinking. Funny thing, they put it in tap water, right?
Mhm.
I would suggest cleaning your water with some sort of filtration system here. The boiling system always works if you don't have a filtration system. Boil all of the contaminants out that you can, and add
What
a little
about if you
hydrogen.
used a locking screen? Would that work?
A what?
A locking screen, like locking screen doors?
A
No,
locking
that's
screen.
not going to
I
help
don't
the
get that.
water.
Yeah. Where are we going with this?
Well, because one time she told me she never heard of a thing as a locking screen door. Like they don't have those in Louisiana. They just let
It's
people.
not that they
Oh.
don't
They just
have
let
them. We
people
just
walk
didn't.
right in your house.
Yeah. Well,
Once upon a time, we did do that. We just let people. My grandparents' door was always open. Nowadays, you can't
Only
do
to
that.
certain people, though, because in
My
your
grandparents'
grandma's
door was
day, it was like, yeah, females aren't allowed, only males, or
in
something
whose
like
day?
that.
That is not the
Is
case.
that?
We're Italian and everybody's welcome.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's like old. You grew up in like obviously a more populated, like harder area where you have to lock the doors. I'm the same way, but nowadays you lock the doors. It's just
Yeah, it doesn't matter
how it
where
is.
you are nowadays. That's the sad state of affairs.
Yeah,
Because
maybe that's true.
so
Yeah, I mean, but
during the
the but
summer, you should
mm,
be able to leave your doors open and everybody come over for your barbecues.
yeah, that's what it's about. Epic hangouts and enjoying the long daylight. And well, here at least you guys are a little more south there, so I don't know what the sunlight
Our
is like.
sunset right now
We're
is like
12 and 12.
8:15, and we're like 8:15 right now, but I was just over in Belgium and it was like 10, 11 o'clock, which is so
Yeah, you
cool.
spent solstice over there. Yeah, we missed you last couple weeks. You were out having adventures, getting into deep shenanigans and music festivals, right?
That's right. Was
Yeah.
it was it
But
a couple weeks? I think it was only 1 week.
I don't know. I think okay. Well, you know better than I do. I don't know. Seems like a couple weeks.
One to travel,
Everything.
one to be there.
Yeah,
One to
there you go.
travel, one what?
To be there.
Yeah, so did I miss 2 shows, Rebel?
Yeah, we
Yes,
did. It's
one
been a couple weeks.
when you were on a plane, and it would have been impossible because it's an hours difference,
Yeah.
many hours, and 1 week because you were there.
Oh.
Yes.
See,
We're
it
coming
just
back.
felt like one.
Yeah. Well, it all happens so fast. I mean, time is
I just
elusive.
get so excited for each episode that it goes very quickly.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, me too. It's nice to have you back. Nice to have you with us. Looking so bright and shiny, brilliant. Okay, what are some other benefits of the sun
Well,
I can think of?
vitamin D.
Yeah,
Like,
vitamin D.
there's nothing better than the sun to cure what ails you. And when I say cure what ails you, don't take that literally because it doesn't necessarily do anything, but it does a lot of things. It's kind of hard. That's another thing too. You do studies of winter places, you know, the difference in mental, positivity or negativity differs greatly during the summer than it does the winter. I mean, you look at
Mhm.
places that have 6 months of darkness, like that becomes that plays on your mind. People that live in that, they'll tell you it plays on your mind negativity. And
Yeah, of
so,
course. We got
so
seasonal affective disorder,
y-
SAD.
y-
It's
yes, so you need the sun.
yeah. And like my area, I mean, we have the sun in the winter time. Well, yeah, we're similar to Belgium. Like the sun is setting 10 p.m., it's light till 11 p.m., and then in the winter time it's dark by 4:30 p.m. So you've got lots of darkness to deal with and get through, and you have to find your own sunshine. That's the point of balancing and going through cycles and moving through cycles with more wisdom. And I mean, that comes with experience and knowledge, and that's what I hope that we can provide to listeners here, throughout the language of healing, is like how to live more in harmony with nature and enjoy life a little bit
And
more.
yourself. And
And
yourself.
yourself, yeah. Well, and the
Mm,
sun represents like, mm, to me, that's I don't know. It's like your soul, even your solar plexus. It's your independence. It's your purpose. It's your sense of identity. It's what drives you to do what you do. It's the action. And then the moon energy, say on the other hand, would be more of that winter, more reflective, more introspective, and you need the balance between the two. You can't always be go, 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 which maybe our society loves to do and have the pressure towards, but those moments of rest are equally as important. And that's what the summertime calls for, is when we're maximum activity, that you need to seed through some of those water qualities like rest, relaxation, laughter.
Oh
um,
no, summer's for party time. Forget the rest and
yeah.
relaxation.
Well,
It's
but that
get
is
out there
restful.
in the
That is
sun. Get out in the
okay. That's
sunlight.
restful. That's restful. Yeah, but you can relax in the sunlight. Like if we're talking 112 degrees, 45 degrees
Yeah,
Celsius.
that's not
Like,
very
yeah.
restful in that sunlight.
No, but
Okay.
you need, yeah, you need. That's a good example of the extremes where it's like critical to rest, and that's where siesta is born, right? Through those hot countries. Is Louisiana like that too, Rebel? Where you've got siesta, is that part of the culture? I don't know. I
More
think
like
that's
Um,
fiestas.
yeah, yeah.
we do
Yeah.
have a lot of eating here, but no, things have changed so much over time, especially after all, the foolishness and locking people up and all of that good stuff. And all those who say this climate change, well, I've lived here the majority of my life. I've lived other places, but it's the heat is so different from the 80s till now. And you can't
Mm.
even stomach going outside. I went outside this weekend, got heat stroke twice. Um,
Well,
Not a
what do you
good thing.
do that for?
I didn't do it on purpose. It's not like I
Well,
was out there looking
if
for
you
it.
get it once, like something would tell you, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that again this weekend.
Well, no, you see, I went
Mister
to
got stung by a jellyfish like 3 or 4 times or
yeah, I
something.
know, right? I went out to a party that was outdoors, a barbecue party. Never barbecue in the heat. It just adds more heat. So anyway, I went to a
You
party.
need the barbecue. You just put it out on the rock.
I know, right? But we were out for an hour. And after that hour, my skin turned all red. I was pouring buckets of sweat. I'm like, I can't do this. I gotta go. I gotta leave. But some of the party stayed there, so I had to go back. I went home. I tried to sip on water. Never, ever, ever drink water too fast if you have heat stroke, because it's not going to do you any good. Just saying. So I
Go
cooled off
low and
for an
slow.
hour.
You're never
And
supposed to drink it fast anyway.
well, sometimes you're thirsty. But
And
anyway,
never supposed to drink it cold either.
it
Right, or
wasn't
By the
ice
way.
cold. It was
water.
hot.
Ice
It was as
water.
hot as I was outside.
Good, good. That's
But
good.
the water was making me sick, and that's a sure sign that I am dehydrated. When water makes me sick, that's never a good thing. So I cooled off for about an hour, and then I said, okay, well, let's do this again. Went back out for another hour. It's like,
Well, see, that's what I'm
no.
saying. You got back to good, and then okay, let me go do that again.
Because it
Mhm.
was a different part. It was an hour later in the day. The first time I went out, it was the beginning of the hottest part of the day. It was 115 degrees. So I was like, okay, no, this is, I figured I could handle it. It's just outside. Yeah, there's a big difference between being outside these days because I was outside, but I was outside on grass. I'm allergic to grass. So it was like, okay, let's
Yeah,
see how
that's a
long this
likely
is a
story.
toleration. And it's a likely story. You see the hives that popped up on my arms. It's like I'm not even rolling around in the grass or anything. I was just walking in it with shoes on. So it's like,
Oh,
oh
no.
wow.
Well, can I give you
didn't
some
expect
advice,
this.
Rebel, please?
Sure.
Some health advice. If you're allergic to
Uh-oh.
grass, don't walk in it. Okay. If you get heat
It's
stroke with it
everywhere.
being hot out, stop. Don't go right back out after you cool down after a few minutes. Just some helpful health advice. I'm
Well,
sure
thanks.
our expert in Chinese medicine will probably add to that.
Well, it's kind of funny because I've heard of someone being allergic to grass, but I've never met anybody allergic to grass. So I wonder because there's so many.
Well,
Like,
she
did
never
you
met a Canadian either, so you're even.
really? No.
I have met Canadians.
Yeah. That's funny. We're like pretty much the same, okay? Except for very different. You know what's funny is I noticed like my keyboard actually is set to Canadian English. You know, Canadian versus US English. I think that's kind of funny that there's a
Does it
difference.
have like things like A and
Yeah.
boot
A capital
and
EA each, yeah.
beauty A? That's like in your keyboard.
Yeah, BDA. Hey, buddy. Yeah. Oh, and then you gotta get like the whole East Coast keyboard. That would be a whole different thing. I'm a
Of East Coast of Canada because it's
East Coast of
French.
Canada. Well,
Because
there's
it's French
French.
Canadian.
There's Chiac, which is a mix of French and English that's spoken in, I think, Nova Scotia is a very, or New Brunswick. I hope, I don't know, actually 100%.
So
I've actually never really been there. And then there's Newfoundland, which is very close to the Scottish.
I had one of those dogs,
What?
a Newfoundland.
Okay. Oh, really? You had a
Really?
Newfoundland dog?
Yeah, BJ.
Oh my goodness! In the heat of.
No, it's in New Jersey,
Okay.
not in
Okay.
Florida.
Yeah, I think that's like equally as cruel as having a polar bear in San Diego. I think that it doesn't make sense. Those poor animals.
I know, right?
But
So
yeah, a Newfoundland dog in New Jersey is
it's
okay. I mean,
interesting you say that because what was interesting to me is I was at Grass Pop Music Festival, which is in a certain part of Belgium, and there are multiple languages spoken there, and separately. Not like they speak all the languages. It's like this neighborhood speaks this language.
yeah.
So I met a woman that spoke every language. There's English is the last one, German, French. I was going to say Belgium, but there is no Belgium. So German, French, Dutch, and Flemish, which is like a
Yeah.
kind of Dutch, but it's a Belgian Dutch. It's kind of like the best way I could describe it is the difference between French in Canada and French in France. So yeah, in fact one of the bands. Okay, they have this song. It's called "Speak," and then the language we're speaking, or "Die." It's from back in the 80s. You couldn't really sing that song now. So whenever
Okay.
they sing it over here in the States, they sing and they call it "Speak Spanish" or "Die." So at the festival, they did "Speak Flemish" or "Die."
Nice.
I didn't even know there was a language called Flemish.
Really?
All this time on this earth, I learned a new language.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, you can always learn. See, you don't know
You
everything.
learned about a new language or you learned the new language. There's a
I
difference.
learned how to hit on women in each
Yeah,
one of the
let's
languages.
hear the best pickup line. What do you got for us?
You don't want that on this show.
No.
No,
Okay.
because a friend of mine from the UK told me to say something to somebody in German, and I can't really repeat it on this show. You could remind me. Actually, we did talk about it, I think, on Pipe Monterey, but yeah.
All right, so we can tune in there, find out more.
Maybe.
Oh no, he said what happens at Grass Pop stays at Grass Pop.
Well, that's what I was told.
Mm.
You know, I was told that. They're like, it's kind of like
But
Vegas.
you've got a big mouth though, so whoops.
Yeah, well, it had to do with something big, and it wasn't my mouth.
Okay.
Like, I didn't know what I was saying. I'm just game. Just tell me what to say. I'll say it. I don't give a crap. And
Yeah.
they said, if you say this, then you will. Then they will want to, perform. We can call it
They will just want to hit you.
carnal
Yeah,
carnal
okay.
knowledge with you. Let's put it this
Oh,
way.
exchange a mutual
Yeah.
connection.
If you
something
say
like that.
this specific
monopolizing on a
if you say this specific thing in German.
okay.
I mean, Rebel
Wow, I'm
can
very
repeat
curious.
it if she wants, because I think I did say it on last week's show.
No, you didn't say it. You just
Oh, I
said
didn't? Oh,
that
yeah.
what happens stays there. We don't know.
All right.
It involved
Well, the
pulling a
mystery.
ponytail or something.
No, you heard that in an interview. No, it was a German saying something in German. And it basically was, I have a big
Right.
basketball,
Something. Fill in the
hockey
blank.
stick,
So
Yeah.
back to that heat.
a
in,
big hockey stick.
Yeah. Well, that is part of the
Chinese
see, this
medicine.
is like summer flings, that didn't never hurt anybody until you come home with something
They're
you
called
didn't
festival
pack.
flings. They're called festival flings, okay?
Oh, festival flings. Okay. Yeah. It's all good. It's all part of the fun,
Yeah,
just
when it's
you just wanna
muddy
keep
in
it
the
safe.
campsite, and I didn't really stay in the campsite, but it was
Oh,
muddy
no.
at the campsites.
Yeah. Lots of rain.
Yeah,
June
first 2
rains.
days were very muddy. So what?
Yeah.
How is muddiness good for our energy and health?
Yeah, okay, so let's go back
'Cause they
to
do
Rebel
have
with her
mud baths.
allergy to grass, okay? Because I wonder, how are you with the mud? There's so many properties of the earth. Well, not specifically the grass, but part of our ability to cool down and re-energize and recharge the ions in our body and feel good physically, mentally, spiritually is grounding, getting in the dirt. Mud baths and using mud are a great way to remineralize yourself. So yeah, Rebel, how do you do with the mud? Have you tried that? Have you ever had a mud bath?
Have you ever wrestled in mud, Rebel?
Wrestled in mud? We got.
I have not wrestled in anything, not mud, not jello, not anything. Thank you.
Bath.
How about chocolate pudding?
No, not chocolate pudding either, or spaghetti, cooked spaghetti. Neither, none, nada. I don't wrestle.
Oh, see, what kind of fiestas are happening here?
I know, right? Is the spaghetti mushy or al dente?
I guess it would be al dente to wrestle in. But anyway, I'm not sure about the mud. I've always heard of the mud bath and I've seen a few. I haven't done any of them. I think it also is a cooling sensation. It helps cool the body down, doesn't it?
Yeah, right. Like
I mean, you have a lot of mud
good
in
way to balance.
Louisiana. You should be doing it,
Well, yeehaw! Let me just go jump out in the swamp. I don't do that.
Well, you got to be careful because that's where you guys hide the bodies. So
Exactly.
careful.
Yeah.
That's why I don't go to swamp.
Yeah, that's like the boggy swampland. Okay, I must experience this environment.
It truly does. What happens in Louisiana truly stays in Louisiana. In the
Yeah, get
swamp.
stuck
Buried in the swamp.
Okay. Swamp people.
See?
Is that
See
where,
how she's laughing? She's done
yeah.
it.
She knows. Okay, this might be a silly question. It's very tangent, but is that where Leonard Skinner's from?
No, they're from
He's
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh,
they're from
really?
Florida.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Same as
cool.
Pantera.
And I think Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit.
Correct.
Yeah, I met a guy in Daytona who got a tattoo from Fred Durst just before he hit it big with Limp Bizkit in Jacksonville, Florida. And I was like,
Nice.
wow, that's a really cool story. And show me the tattoo. Oh, I got it covered up. It's like, it's a big mistake. So I don't know if it's a true story or not, but I believe it.
It probably was a big mistake, and he probably got covered up before they got famous, and like that was a big mistake.
Yeah, it didn't turn out that well.
How about tattoo? We should do an episode on that because I
Yeah,
don't have any
tattoos. Yeah.
tattoos, and one of the biggest
Mhm.
reasons I don't have any tattoos, originally the biggest reason is because I'm Jewish. But now the
Mhm.
biggest reason is because tattoo ink attacks every organ in your body.
I have many thoughts around that. We can do a whole episode, but
That's
there's,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
maybe the modern ink, yeah, but in traditional sense, there's other ways to do it that are, I know some people that have gone that route, uh, and there's purpose to it. There's lots of tradition with it. Even acupuncture, people would tattoo a point to keep it stimulated. So if you were, I mean, there's a point that they say after everyone over the age of 35 should stimulate every day. But if you had that point
Oh,
stimulated,
do
you
they
know,
do that at festivals too?
well, I don't
They
know. I
just
guess if you're into
might.
that.
I mean,
I
if it's good, I'm all for stimulating it every day.
okay, there you go. There you go. Hey, incarceration. Do they do tattoos there at the
Yeah, there's
festival?
a whole tattoo part. It's a tattoo and music festival. So there's a whole section in the prison that's tattooing. Appropriate that would be in a prison that you would have the tattooing.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the most famous tattoo artists in the world are there.
But they do
Well,
not use the jailhouse ink. Let's be specific. It is the safe. Well, I'm not going to use the word safe.
Well, not
It is the
everybody does.
traditional tattoo ink. It is not the jailhouse dangerous.
Wait. You
ink.
say traditional, but traditional is where they were using sticks and what she was talking about, where it wasn't the poison it is today.
yeah.
Right?
Well, it's not
Jailhouse ink,
necessarily the
like
poison.
mashed up like cigarette ash
No, you
and
know
dirt.
how they do jailhouse tattoos? Do you know
No,
how
I
they do
don't.
them? Okay,
I've
so
seen in
they
like,
they
from
create
movies or
this
something.
thing and they use a toothbrush as part of the creator. They use a pen and they use the ink from
Oh,
a ballpoint pen, like the pen ink. That's what they use.
yeah. Interesting.
They also do something that is an Asian thing that actually you can go to a doctor and get done in prisons called a pearl.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's a jailhouse pearl. Do you know what a pearl is? You were in
Are you
China.
asking me? Yeah, I don't personally know. I do. Have heard of this.
I mean, you could go to a doctor and get it done.
Yeah, there's a lot of
You could
implants.
go to a Chinese doctor and get it done, but they do it in jail where
Okay.
there's no doctor.
Yeah. I mean,
Wouldn't
see,
that be
this is
painful?
yeah, I
Yeah,
can
no
imagine.
pain, no
They
gain.
yeah, no, I don't like that. I mean, to each their own. But maybe that's in, when you're incarcerated, you're looking for your own sunshine, your own joy. And, that could mean different things to different people at different times of their life.
That's true.
So,
Or the person doing it is looking for joy
yeah,
by doing it.
yeah, sure. There's different aspects of that. It could be an old like torture device. I don't know if people even know what we're talking about right now. Why don't you tell us what that even is?
What a pearl is?
Yeah.
It's an implant. You know what it is. You just said implant, so
Yeah.
you know what it is.
I know what it is, but
It's
maybe not everybody knows what it is.
You want me to go into
Anyway,
detail?
no, well, you can just look it up. No, that's fine. Save
Will
it for
they
another
find that? Let's look that up and see what it says. Okay, I'm gonna look it up and see what it says.
conversation. Yeah, I think that there's more connected to that. Okay, while you do that, I'm going to talk about maybe the spirit of something else. Okay.
Not the spirit of Christmas, right?
No, however, it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago. I was out for dinner, which is June.
Ooh,
And they were
ooh,
playing Christmas music in the restaurant.
that's
And I
disgusting.
thought like, okay, is this some cruel joke or a way to balance the heat of the summer with here, remember the spirit of Christmas?
Okay, here it is. I got it.
Okay. Okay.
This type of body modification, it's also called penile beading. It's also known as pearling or genital beading, is a practice where an implantable material, be it spherical or rib shaped, is inserted into the subcutaneous tissue of the penis.
Okay. There you go. See, it would make sense for the pearls to be in the clam, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well, no, okay, because
Or maybe that's the
so
point.
it's kind of like, all right, they sell in stores today, to be serious, they sell condoms that have that same thing, like the
Yeah.
bumps on them. It was
Yeah.
apparently those penile implants are for the pleasure of the woman, and it reaches spots that wouldn't normally reach and creates serious sensation. Now, I don't know why men in prison are doing it, but
Well, there you go. Welcome to the pearly gates. Let's have some fun.
dun-dun-dun.
Bumpa. Okay. Well, that's fun. See, this is the playful spirit of summertime. All right.
I think we should be
Um,
playing like the Will Smith song. We
What's
shouldn't,
that?
but we
Getting
should.
jiggy with it? Getting
No,
jiggy with it?
summertime. Summertime.
I don't know that one.
Oh, well, see.
I think summertime with like who was that? Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald or something.
Summertime.
And the living is easy. And all the remakes, like
And the living
Slimy.
is easy.
Yeah. Okay. Right? Yeah, music. Okay, so someone asked me the other day, she asked me, where do you find your sunshine? And I thought that was a good question. You know, in like the darkest, gloomiest days, it's important to find our own sunshine. What I thought about that made me think of that was like music, obviously being part of that, because music can evoke emotion and it can lift your vibration. It can also like, you know, it depends on what you want to tune into. Do you want to tune into something like that opens up potential or keeps you kind of in gloominess?
I don't know. I get a
Um,
lot of sunshine from death metal. It
there
makes
you
me
go.
It makes me happy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. You know, music's good. The heavier and harder, and you can just it's like an outlet to let that fire like de-steam.
I also get a lot of great pleasure when I expose rebel to punk music live.
Okay. Yes. Oh yeah, we talked about was it your first mosh pit experience?
Outside surroundings of it. I wasn't in it by no means.
Ah. Yes. Well, you know, that's where like you got to get the friction to get the heat, and I don't know, I guess it's how we weather the storm of everyone else's stuff in the mosh pit. I guess it's like, how do you hold your own? I remember my first mosh pit. Actually, it was at the Calgary Stampede, which is coming up here.
That's very appropriate.
Well, I know it's yeah, it doesn't sound like it makes sense, and it probably doesn't. But these days, it's a melting pot of everything. We're going to talk about the Stampede next week, so I don't want to give it away.
Don't give it away.
I don't want to give it away. But Rebel said yeehaw, and that will be thrown around this city for the next 14 days.
That, funny as that may seem, that was like one of my favorite TV shows when I was a kid, so I could make fun of the Southerners.
What show is that?
Yeehaw.
Oh, okay.
It was an actual show.
About?
It just showed the mental incapability of the South and why they are now the South.
Oh my.
Yeah, I feel like that's not correct, but I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
Well, what do you think about that show, Rebel? What do you get out of that show?
I've never seen that show. I didn't even know that was such a thing.
There's a show also called Green Acres, and right next
Mm.
studio, the next town over is Green Acres. And every time I drive through there, I think of the theme song because the theme
Oh,
song
yeah.
goes, Green Acres is the place to be. Mm, 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 mm.
How
Don't know
many
the words,
remakes
do
of
ya?
that? Yeah.
I gave you the words.
That was more than that. You started humming. There's a whole theme song to that.
Why don't you sing us the words,
I am
Rebel?
so not doing that.
Come on, Rebel.
Oh my
No.
gosh, that's funny.
Not happening.
Do you know
When
it?
the last 5 minutes of the show is not going to be me serenading anybody. It's going to be
Come on, Rebel.
tying everything
You can do it.
together. I know
Show your Southern spirit, Rebel.
I am by not doing that.
Oh my goodness, we can look it up. It reminds me of I'm sure that a lot of musicians have done a riff of that song because I can think of, I don't know if it's who did it.
I'm taking my
Uh,
mic off for a minute because I'm going to bring a surprise.
Okay.
Oh,
When he says
wow.
that's kind of makes me worry a
Scary.
little bit.
Yeah,
but we've
I would-
already
I do
been
too.
there. He's gonna show us his favorite sunning position in a moment. He wore just the right pants for that. All right, he doesn't have a microphone on. He's doing something. So what else? What else are we celebrating? How do you celebrate Independence Day? Is that something you have a holiday coming up, Rebel? We
do.
did it. We had big fireworks. We had a crazy thunder and lightning storm, and people were still throwing off their fireworks, and I love it. The spirit of, oh yeah, we're gonna celebrate. It's summertime, and we're gonna celebrate, come hell or high water.
A lot of people have forgotten what we actually celebrate Independence Day for. You know, they're doing their barbecues and their fireworks and whatnot. And for those of you who have pets, please keep them safe inside during that time. It's your PSA announcement for the day.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay, here we go,
It's true.
folks. Watch this.
Mm.
Hold on. It's coming.
Da-da, 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 da-da. Let's see. What do we got?
Okay, you ready?
Okay. Oh.
Welcome to Hee Haw, starring Buck Owens and Roy Clark.
Okay. So is this like a talk show? A comedy
was
hour?
I'm Buck. I'm Rowan. Hee Haw's back. Oh boy, let's go. Right now.
So, whoops, I
Was that
took
made?
Rebel out. I took Rebel out instead of that one. So that was a famous show in the 70s. And yeah, like in the 70s in America, unlike now where you have reality shows, you had a bunch of those variety shows. And a lot of those people that you saw on there, they were like famous people. But it definitely was making fun of the South at times. I mean, they were making fun of themselves.
Like they're in the
didn't try.
cornfield. Yeah, well, I mean, it's important to be able to poke fun at yourself. Actually, the word fun derives from like joke, to fool around. And, the innocence of being the fool is just, keeping things lighthearted, not so serious. We need the seriousness, but we'll save that for
Why so serious?
Why so? Oh. Yeah. How'd you get that scar?
Hey, why
So
serious?
But now the serious sad part is that we have to wrap up the show because we've already been down there. So yeah, I know. Cry us a river. And then when you find that river, jump in there and enjoy the coolness of the water.
And
Let that
make
balance
sure
your
you're
body,
in the
mind, and
river
spirit.
swimming. you're in the river swimming in a nice cool river and exposing your
Mm,
derriere to the sun. And that is
yes.
perfect health for summertime. That's my advice, what you should do in the summertime.
Yeah, I do kind of encourage it. I mean, as funny as it is, it's spread your cheeks and let it soar.
Let it rip.
Let it let it rip.
All right,
Yeah, I
end the
mean,
show, Nicole, before it gets really bad, okay?
okay, yeah, I agree. Okay, thank you for tuning in. See you next week, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Language of Healing, w4wn.com. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Rebel. And we'll see you next week. You don't want to miss it. For sure, we're going to be yee-hawing, hee-hawing, and see you then.
Yeehaw! Wow, what a show today. And the journey does not stop here. Come travel the world with Nicole every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time as together we become more fluent in the language of healing on W4WN Radio and Talk4 TV. See you next week.